The art of disappearing. What your silence reveals about everyone around you. There is a kind of power that does not announce itself. It does not argue. It does not explain. It does not send one last message, hoping to be finally understood. It simply goes quiet. And in that quiet, everything that was hidden begins to surface. Part 1. The silence that comes from strength. There is a moment that arrives differently for everyone. It is not dramatic. It does not come with a decision made in front of a mirror or a speech prepared in advance. It simply arrives. After one too many conversations that went nowhere. After one too many times of pouring into something that never filled. After realizing that your words, your reaching, your care, have become background noise to someone who stopped listening long before you stopped speaking. And in that moment, you go silent. Not to punish, not to manipulate, not to see what happens, but because something ancient and intelligent inside you finally said, enough. That silence is not weakness dressed in quiet. It is wisdom that ran out of patience for being ignored. Part 2. The noise that protected someone else's secret. Here is something worth sitting with carefully. As long as you are loud, as long as you are reaching, initiating, filling every gap, keeping the connection alive through sheer force of your own effort, you give someone else a place to hide. Your consistency becomes their cover. Your loyalty becomes their comfort. Your energy becomes the thing that disguises their absence of intention. They do not have to show up because you never left. They do not have to choose because you never stopped being available. They do not have to build because you were already holding everything together. But the moment you go still, the structure you were holding either stands on its own or it collapses. And that collapse is not your failure. It is the truth finally arriving without your interference. Part 3. Emotion is easy. Effort is rare. There is a distinction the heart resists making because it is painful. Someone can feel something for you and still not do anything about it. They can miss you and not move. They can value what you gave them and never give it back. They can hold something tender for you in a quiet corner of themselves and still choose not to act on it. Because emotion is effortless. It costs nothing to feel, nothing to miss, nothing to remember someone warmly while doing nothing to return to them. Effort is different. Effort costs time, costs discomfort, costs the willingness to be vulnerable without a guarantee. And what silence reveals is not how someone feels about you. It reveals what they are willing to do about how they feel. The ones who felt something real will move. The ones who only enjoyed the feeling will disappear into it. Part 4. What the silence filters. Think of silence not as an ending but as a filter. When your energy withdraws, when the texts stop, the initiating stops, the reaching across the distance stops, you remove something that was obscuring the truth. Your effort. And without your effort filling the frame, what remains is only what was ever genuinely theirs. Some people will feel the shift immediately, not because they were waiting for an opening, but because your presence genuinely mattered to them and its absence creates something they cannot ignore. They will reach out, not strategically, not because they calculated the right moment, but because something in them noticed you were gone before their mind caught up with what that meant. Others will not notice. Or more precisely, they will notice and choose not to move. Because they were never invested in you. They were invested in what your presence provided them. And that distinction, quiet as it is the most important truth silence will ever deliver. Part 5. Real response. Ego's reaction. There are two ways someone responds to your stillness. The first is love. Love does not panic. But it does not sit still either. Real love feels the shift in you and rises to meet it not out of fear of losing something, but out of genuine care for what you might be feeling. It asks. It reaches. It takes accountability without being asked to. It does not wait for you to break the silence first. It does not need you to perform your pain visibly before deciding you deserve attention. It simply says something is wrong, and I am not willing to let that go unaddressed. The second is ego. Ego experiences your silence as an offense. It does not ask why you went quiet. It takes the quiet personally. It goes cold. It performs indifference. It waits for you to break first because capitulating would feel like losing. And here is how you know the difference. Love wants to repair something. Ego wants to win something. One of them will show up at the door. The other will watch from a distance and pretend it was never invested in the first place. Part 6. Attention is performance. Consistency is character. Attention is available to everyone. A message sent in the morning. A compliment offered easily. The performance of interest sustained for exactly as long as it benefits the performer. None of it costs anything. None of it requires decision. None of it demands that a person become more than they currently are. Consistency is something else entirely. Consistency shows up on the difficult days, not the inspired ones. It does not require mood. It is not dependent on convenience. It is not present only when you are performing your best self, and absent the moment you are simply human. Consistency is the shape a person's choices make over time. And you cannot fake a shape. You can fake a moment. You can perform attention for a week, a month, long enough to create a feeling of safety in someone who deserves the real thing. But over time, the pattern emerges. And the pattern never lies. Part 7. Absence as clarity. When you step back, when you stop filling every silence, stop initiating every connection, stop making it easy for someone to take your presence for granted, you are not testing anyone. You are simply removing yourself from a situation long enough to see it clearly. And what you will see will be one of two things: movement toward you, or the confirmation that the stillness was already there, long before you noticed it, and you had simply been too busy filling it to feel it. Neither answer is easy, but both are gifts. Because clarity, even when it arrives wrapped in disappointment, is infinitely more valuable than the comfort of not knowing. You deserve to know. Not eventually. Not when it becomes impossible to ignore. Now, Part 8. The power you reclaim. Here is what silence gives back to you. Yourself. Not as a performance. Not as someone defined by how much they gave or how long they stayed or how patiently they waited for someone else to rise. But as someone who listened finally to their own voice. Who stopped translating their worth through someone else's attention. Who realized that the peace they had been searching for in someone else's choices had been available to them all along in their own stillness. Silence is not the end of something. It is the beginning of something that belongs entirely to you. Your clarity, your time, your energy returned to you like something that was always yours and simply needed to be reclaimed. The right people will feel your absence like a missing gravity. They will not wait to see if you return. They will come to find you. And everyone else. Let them go in the same silence they chose when they had the chance to choose differently.